So you may have just picked up your iPad 10th generation, and I want to go ahead and break down some of my favorite tips and or tricks to utilize within your iPad. And it's honestly some of the first things that I usually do whenever I buy any iPad at all. Now, the very first thing I would tell you, I could straight go into all the tips and tricks, but the most important thing you can do when you buy an iPad is to update it the day that you get it. So currently, if you take a look at my settings, if you go and click on About, this is a brand new iPad, we just bought it. I'm on iPadOS 16.0. Now, iPadOS 16 is technically the latest version of software. However, there's already 16.1 that's available. So the most important thing I would recommend every single person watching this video who bought not only an iPad 10, but an M2 iPad Air, or any brand new iPad, which is usually already on iPadOS 16 at this point, is to go ahead and click on Software Update into your general settings right here, and just update your version of software. Now, 16.1 is already available. So as you can see, I'm just not connected to Wi-Fi. So just connect to, internet. Update your iPad to iPadOS 16.1, and this will fix most of the bugs you're going to experience, issues, so many other things. I've already had like 3 issues on my iPad already, like different pop-ups that were not allowing me to do anything else. I had to restart my iPad, and I knew that was because I was on iPadOS 16 and not the latest version. So that is the very first thing I'd recommend doing on your specific iPad. Just go through and pretty much just update your specific iPad in that specific situation. So that is the very first tip I would recommend. Now, another thing that luckily we do now have on our iPad 10, which we also had on our iPad 9, is actually with our new FaceTime camera. So I had to flip my iPad around, but our iPad 10 now has the landscape front-facing camera. This is the first time we've seen this, I believe, on any iPad ever. So this is really cool. A lot of other Android manufacturers already utilize a landscape type of front-facing camera, and this is really awesome. So to utilize center stage, which allows you to stay in frame, you want to go inside of your settings right here. You want to scroll down into FaceTime. So this is really, really awesome. Now with under FaceTime, what you can do is you can scroll down and you will now see not only live captions, which is now available, but you'll also be able to see so many other things you can go and modify as well. So speaking and so many other things. Now it seems like to me center stage is, I guess, not available in this specific situation. It might be because we haven't updated it yet. So as I mentioned before, update your iPad and that should end up fixing the situation for the most part. So center stage is a really cool thing, and that option should be under here, and it should already be pre-enabled anyway. Now another cool thing that we have, kind of related to video, is actually live text. So within our iPad, we now have the ability to actually select text from images. So this is a really cool thing, and I know with a lot of people who use iPads, they can be students who typically take images of certain things. So as you can see, this is an image. It's kind of a blurry image, so we'll just go and use another one. So with this type of image, what we can do is we can hold down on that text like this, and we should be able to select the text from. So with this example, I have a screenshot of my home screen. So what I can do is I can go ahead and zoom in and I can select text from these images that I've taken on this specific iPad. So this works with screenshots, this works with so many other things. So it's literally just like selecting text on any other page. So if I wanted to select text from reminders, I could do the exact same thing. Just hold down on that text. And in this example, it may not seem like the craziest thing ever, but when you're actually, taking notes and you're doing so many things and maybe you're being sent PDF files and images and all these other things, well, you can actually go ahead and just collect the text from them, and that'll help you actually, kind of not have to rewrite everything. You can just pretty much copy and paste your whole entire thing. So that's another really cool thing you now have. Now, another thing that came with, I believe, iPadOS 15 is actually drag and drop. So now we have the ability, essentially, kind of related to, not really related to live text, but dragging and dropping text or images or whatever the case is. If we go and make our way over to our notes application, you can drag and drop between any sort of thing. So in this case, if we open up a new note, what we can do is I can go ahead and grab this image or whatever this is, a link from this specific portion. So I can go and, just like how I said before, grab it, I can drag it just like this, and I can use my other hand to pretty much swipe out of here, go back into notes, and I can go ahead and drop this link right into this new note. Now sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. I guess for this reason it's not working out that well. We'll go and try it again. But that is another thing you have the ability of doing. Now again, it's not working for some reason, but you can also do this with images. So I can drag and drop this image from here and drop it into my notes like that. Again, I don't know why with the notes thing isn't working. Usually it works. So let's go and try it again. Maybe you have to kind of open up a text like this. Let's go and try it one more time. And finally, it kind of worked. There we go. So, drag and drop is now available on your iPad 10. So that's another thing I would really recommend looking into it. Now, within the keyboard, there are tons of things you can modify here as well. Now, as always, you have your standard keyboard. This is a really nice looking keyboard. You can minimize the keyboard by clicking on the bottom. You can open it up by tapping on the text button right there. Now, our keyboard has a lot of cool things. You can enable dictation. What you can do is you can always like type to text if you enable dictation. For some reason, this one's not working either. Now, another thing that you can do on your iPad keyboard is actually swiping down for numbers. So what this means is basically if you swipe down on the specific QWERTY top portion right here, instead of having to tap on the numbers every single time, you can actually just go ahead and keep it here and just swipe down on these numbers, and you can actually just go ahead and utilize it that way too. Now, swiping down is really easy. Now, I typically actually do prefer clicking here because it's a little bit faster typing in the numbers this way than having to go like one by one, but it's still a really cool thing that you have the ability of doing, and that's something I'm really happy about. Now, another thing we have within our keyboard is actually splitting up the keyboard and changing the layout of our keyboard right now. So what we can do is we can hold down on our emoji icon right here, and we can click on keyboard settings. Now this is going to take us into this panel. Now we have a lot of different keyboard settings that we can actually go ahead and modify. I'd probably recommend enabling dictation for the time being as well. And under keyboards, you'll basically be able to do the exact same thing, manage all the keyboards that you have. So the stock iPadOS keyboard has tons of little things within it too that I actually do love, and I'm glad they actually ended up, you can do a split keyboard, you can minimize this keyboard. There are tons of things you can do within this keyboard as well. Now swiping back out of here, iPadOS 16 did bring a lot of cool things within the iPad, which I'm really happy about. Some of these things also include a live text within videos as well. So if you're going through and actually taking a video of a lecture, or let's say you're taking a video of whatever, well, very similar to how you can go and copy the text within an image, you can actually copy and paste the text within those videos as well. So that is something else that is really cool, and I'm really happy in this specific portion that they enabled that too. Now, iMessage got a humongous redesign within iPadOS 16 as well, and there are tons of things that you can do now within iPadOS. So very similar to how I mentioned before, if you have the ability, or basically the availability of doing this and texting people, well, what you can always do, in this case is probably not going to work because I'm not connected to Wi-Fi, but you have the ability now, which is really cool, of actually unsending and editing sent iMessages. So what you can do is you can hold down on the iMessage like this, and there should be some panels that come up. Now, you can always go and click more once it's sent. Now to do these things, all you have to do, as I've mentioned in so many other videos, is to basically hold down on the message like this, and you should be able to see a few different options. You'll see undo sent, you'll see edit sent message, and you'll actually be able to delete messages on both ends, which is so cool. But another awesome thing that we have the ability of doing is, let's say I delete this specific message. Let's say I go ahead and I click right here and I go ahead and click delete. You can also unread read messages, which is crazy. I click delete, I clicked it here, and it says delete messages are actually moved to recently deleted. So it says, you can go into edit and then recently delete it, and you'll be able to find them. So if on your iPad you actually went ahead and deleted those specific messages, what you can actually do is you can click the edit button that's on the top right or top left, and what you can do is right here, show recently deleted. So if you deleted any iMessages on your specific iPad, you can actually recover them now within iPadOS 16, which is so awesome. So now what you can do is you can go and tap on this specific message right here, and you can actually tap recover on the bottom right, and this will actually recover those deleted messages. Now personally, I think this is a really cool thing that Apple has done, and I'm really happy they implemented this because, like I mentioned, it's a really big thing that we have the ability of recovering any deleted messages that we deleted. So now we can go and click recover message, and guess what? That message is now technically recovered, and we can go and see it as we normally would. So those are pretty much some of my favorite tricks and tips that you should go and kind of know about on your iPad 10. If you have any other thoughts or questions or any other tricks and tips other people should know about, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.